What is up? Okay, I haven't been on here in a minute. Let's just get right into it. Let's go. Does my lipstick look good? I don't know. I just threw something on. Guys, I've been so busy. Let's get into this really quickly. So I just wanted to read a statement that came out from the prosecution in the middle of the night. And I wanted to jump on here and read it real quick because I know I haven't been here in a while. Guys, can you hear my mic? Can you hear me in the mic real good if you can hear me? Just go ahead and hit that like button. Okay. Throughout this case, here we go. This was just got on Judge Room's desk at 1 a.m. 1 a.m., guys. Okay. They were supposed to set it by midnight and they didn't. And this is what Judge Room, you know the backstory of what was going on. Diddy wanted a mistrial. He wanted a retrial. He wanted to do the Mann Act again on the 2 counts without any violence, to take that video out of Cassie out of it. Shout out to TikTok. And and do it all over again, right? So the judge was like, okay, I'll let you know. Give me in a couple of minutes and I'll let you know. He said, give me a short time. I'll let you know. That was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. What are we on now? Tuesday. So he's sitting there 4 days taking his sweet time. And of course, we got all these letters from his family, all the letters from the inmates. I'll read that later. But right now, there was a letter that just came in. Shout out to Ticket TV. Go follow Ticket TV because he's on it. A letter came in from the prosecution to Judge Room at 1 a.m. And this is what it says. So I had to come on here really early in the craziness. So throughout this case and over the course of the 7-week trial, this court has seen extensive evidence demonstrating the defendant's criminal conduct perpetrated across more than a decade. At trial, the defendant disputed that the government had made out particular elements of the charged federal offenses, but he largely conceded his conduct: the violence, domestic abuse, drug use, and distribution and bribery. The defendant will not be punished for any crimes of which he was acquitted. Of course, that's the trafficking and RICO. Of course, but punishment, because Diddy's lawyers, Agnafilio, whatever, he was trying to say, you're charging him for crimes that were thrown out. No, he got charged with 5. He was acquitted on 3. So he's getting charged for the Mann Act, right? But punishment for his crimes and conviction must take into account the manner in which he committed them. His crimes of conviction are serious and have warranted sentences over 10 years in multiple cases for defendants who, like Sean Combs, engaged in violence and put others in fear. Consistent with those cases and based on the evidence presented at trial, this court should impose a sentence of no less. Y'all ready for this? Prosecution already told judge no less than 135 months in prison. Because you guys think there were people who got caught on the Mann Act. He had 2 Mann Act charges. There were people on 1 Mann Act charge that pleaded guilty and they got 10 years on a plea deal. He didn't take a plea deal. He went to court. So the prosecution say we want no less than 135 months. What is that? Boom. Hit him with 11 years and 0.25 months. Minimum. A subsequential term of imprisonment is also needed in this case because the defendant is unrepentant. He refuses to repent. He refuses to admit guilt. Guys, this is good. I mean, I'm drinking iced coffee. It has cocoa and banana, and it has some dates. It's like a meal replacement. It has some protein. It's really good. Guys, if you want the recipe for some iced coffee, just go on my playlist. Look up drinks. It's there. Okay. A subsequential term of imprisonment is also needed in this case because the defendant is unrepentant. While the defendant conceded his acts of violence and abuse throughout the trial, he now argues that his victims should shoulder the blame. 61 and 62, the defendant. Oh, he's saying that he's trying to bring everyone. So he's saying the defendants should have. So he's trying to bring people down with him. The defendant tries to recast decades of abuse by simply simply the function of mutual toxic relationships, but there is nothing mutual about a relationship when one person holds the power over and the other one ends up bloody and bruised. Indeed, in connection with sentencing Cassie Ventura, who's along with multiple, what's the word? Male entertainers. I gotta use the right words here, guys. I don't get dinged with were transported across state lines by the defendant in a multi-day FO in connection with count three of the defendant was convicted in the court. The FO was degrading and disgusting. Okay. All right, guys. I had to get that out of the way. I had to just read a statement from the prosecution that came on the judge's desk at 1 a.m. that Diddy got hit with 11 years minimum. So, of course, his team is saying, no, time served, time already served. Let's go. Time served. Let's go. Let him out. Let him wear his suit. He wrote a letter. I want to wear Gucci fam. You see this hat? What this hat say, guys? Can y'all see this hat? It says NY. NY. What does that mean? I am from New York, guys. I am from New York. I am from the Bronx. I was born in the 70s. I'm hip hop. All right. Y'all got so many podcasts. Shout out to all y'all podcasters. Listen, I watch y'all. I love y'all. I'm here for it. But a lot of y'all, we got to really break it down. I love when Damon Dash went on the Breakfast Club. And is Damon Dash suing the Breakfast Club for $200 million? Just a Mess and DJ Envy, he's suing all them because they say he walked in there with dirty sneakers. Anyway, listen. Damon Dash looked at Charlamagne and said, yo, you come in this room at 4 a.m. and you've been sitting in this one room is like a coffin and you've been sitting in here for 15, 20 years. You're not living no life. Like, you're not living. There's so many podcasters out here that want to talk about hip hop, report on hip hop, document hip hop. And they're not from New York. They're too young. They don't, as Damon Dash was telling Charlamagne, you don't do the research. And then you come up here and just spread lies. So anyway, let's get back. So 11, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I know a lot. I got a lot of male friends that are like free Diddy. I get texts every day, free Diddy, free Diddy. The men are like free Diddy. The women are like, get them off the street to make the streets more safe, And we got all these letters. Oh my God, it's not funny. It's really a sad story. Like, a lot of people in hip hop, like a lot of people from that era, or my friends, a lot of them, like, they're really just silent. Like, a lot of people not talking about it. They're like, because I think they're like shamed or they're embarrassed or they're like, why now? Or he was doing it for 30 years and trying to take down a black man. And maybe it was Diageo because he sued the record label. I mean, we hear a gazillion. So what, maybe it's just God. Maybe, can it just be God? Can it just be your karma? That you shooking and jiving and robbing everybody and robbing your artists, and maybe this is just your karma that just finally caught up with you. How about that? We do not say, let me tell you, I don't care what religion you are, if you're atheist, agnostic, Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, Christian. We do not decide our fate. We don't decide when we come into this world, and we do not decide when we leave. Unless you do, unless you take your own way out, which is also a sin. This is just his karma. Maybe it's just Diddy. This is just Diddy's karma. And the judge, I think Judge Aruma is like, you have yet to humble yourself. You don't humble you want to come in here wearing Gucci, and the judge is asking him like, why do you get to wear Gucci? You was convicted. You were convicted like everybody else has to wear their coming here with shackles and in their put the number on their back and your regular uniform. And he's like, I gotta eat the food. And there's worms in the food and there's magnets in the food. Okay, you're an inmate. Don't do the shenanigans to get you locked up where that you don't have where then now you gotta eat food with magnets, right? Come on, guys, let's do this. Pray more, worry less. See it? Let's go. Anyway, back to these letters. Let me share my screen. Guys. How y'all doing out here? I know I'm a little hyped. This is coffee. I'm drinking this iced coffee His iced coffee got me up. I saw the news they hit him with the 11 years. I was like, oh, I gotta go live. Mm-hmm. Let's see what this lady got to say. Let's go see what the Diddler's mother had to say to the judge. Let's see. What does she have to say? Here she goes right here. Janice Combs. Fancy. Look at her right here. Look at these pictures, guys. She's on the red carpet. She's got every color wig. She's got diamonds in her hair. She's got the fake lashes. She's got the red lipstick. She's a boss. She's the matriarch of the family. She was married to the, what was he? Gangster, informant, drug deal going bad. Anyway, here's the family. Here she go, her fishnet stockings. Oh, look at Mama Combs. Got the, look at her. Look at her. With the fishnet stockings, the blonde wig, the blue color contacts, with her son, with his toothpick in his mouth and his silk suit, shucking and jiving. And look at all the paparazzi. Okay. If you was Diddy's mother, what would you say to the judge? See, I think the problem is with the judge when they talking about he didn't repent. You know, what's wrong with just saying, okay, I understand you don't want to take the RICO. You don't want to plead guilty on the RICO because they're gonna take your money. They're gonna take all your money. So you don't want to do that. You got 7 kids, they're gonna take your money. So of course you gotta fight it, especially if you got the means to fight it, which he did. And he won on the bigger charges. Okay, we'll give him that. And he probably most likely was overcharged by the federal government. He was overcharged. That's what they do. They have any of y'all been arrested? They're gonna hit you with something. Obstruction of governmental procedure, resisting arrest, bribery, forgery. They hit you with 10 counts, hoping 1 or 2 stick, but then they drain your money when you got to pay for the lawyers, right? Remember Monopoly, the game of life? Do not pass. You roll the dice. Remember, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not pass go. Remember that Monopoly game? So I think the judge is looking at Diddy like, and that's why the prosecution said he didn't repent. So of course you're not gonna take the RICO because you're gonna take your money. But he, what's wrong with just saying like, Your Honor, I've been sober for a year. I've had some time to reflect. I can see how my actions hurt a lot of people. I've also hurt myself. I hurt my kids. I let my fans down. I'm trying to go to drug rehab or they're just, not, he's like, that's not what he's saying. What the judge is hearing. It wasn't me. It was her. It was Jane. It was Jane Doe. It was Cassie. It was this. It was the workers. It was the FOs. It wasn't me. I didn't pay anybody. She paid them. She had the bag of money. I didn't have no money. It wasn't my credit card. It wasn't my car. It wasn't my limo. I didn't threaten Kid Cudi. I didn't bomb nobody's car. It's always his little minions, right? His goons. Guys, listen to me when I'm talking to you. I'm from New York. I'm from the Bronx. Diddy grew up in Mount Vernon, right in the backyard with Heavy D and the rest of them. Come on, you got to give me some credit with credit. Hit that like button, guys. Hit the like button. So the judge is probably like, listen, you ain't even really saying what I want to hear right now. And the prosecution is like, hit him with 11 years. He didn't take a plea deal. And if you were Diddy's mother right now, you were going to address the judge, what would you say? I would be like, Your Honor, I failed. In some ways, some ways I succeeded, but in other ways I failed. And I'm going to tell you why I feel like she failed. Because I believe, allegedly, it's just my opinion. I don't know this for fact. I don't know this lady. I never met this lady. I don't hang out with her. But my feeling, if I had to go with my gut, allegedly, I feel that Janice Combs probably told her son, if a woman doesn't act right, if she don't get in line, whether it's your artist, your girlfriend, your baby's mother, your wife, slap her up. I think she told her son, get her in line, slap her up, hit her up. She probably, His best friend said when he was a kid, he was like a little punk. He was skinny. He looked like a horse. They called him horse face, horsey, right? Google him when as a kid. They called him horse face, which is mean. Kids were bullied. Like, I'm from the Bronx. Kids were bullied. We fought all the time. And he would go outside and he would get robbed. And the mother would slap him up. She would slap him in his face, like, don't you go out there and get robbed. You better go out there and beat up those kids. Don't come back in here without your money and yada, yada. So she was tough. She groomed him. She groomed him for the music business. Janice Combs groomed her son for the music business because the music business is not a game. It's not a joke. And to be successful and been successful for as long as he has, I'm sure it wasn't easy. You know, Big Meech said from BMF, he said the best day of his life was his first day in prison because he didn't have to look over his shoulder anymore. He could take a deep breath. He said it was the best sleep he ever got. Okay, let's read this letter real quick. You guys probably already heard it. I mean, I'm like a week late or longer. I mean, I've been busy. I've got a lot going on. I got like construction in my house. I got kid looking for. I'm doing college tours. I got kid just had a 18th birthday. Okay, listen. This is from Janice Combs to the judge. I'm writing on behalf of. Oh no, I skipped it. That's the wrong place. Wait a minute, guys. I'm on the wrong place. Here we go. You guys see my screen? My name is Janice Combs, and Sean Combs is my only child. I'm writing this letter to implore your honor to please have mercy on my son. Sean has always been a loving and caring son. On December 21st, I will be 85 years old. This separation for the past year while Sean has been incarcerated has been excruciatingly difficult and painful for me and his children. I would like to be able to spend the last few years of my life with my son, Sean. Unfortunately, my son has made some terrible mistakes in his life, which I know he recognizes. Okay, so she's saying he made mistakes. There's some a little bit of accountability right there. Sean was 2 years old when his father passed away. Okay, that's a good point to put out to the judge. That was a trauma. When he was 2, his father died. Well, not even died, he was murdered. As I raised my son as a single mother, I was also caring for my elderly, ailing mother. I worked 3 jobs to provide my son for a good education. I drove the bus from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. Then in the evenings, I worked at the United Cerebral Palsy Home, caring for patients. I also worked on the weekends as a salesperson in a clothing store. When my son was 9 years old, tragedy struck my family again. We were informed that my brother had died of a drug overdose, leaving his 5-year-old daughter, Keisha, as an orphan. That's horrible. Anybody dying from a drug overdose is horrible, horrible. So she had to deal with her husband being murdered. Now her brother dies of an overdose. My brother and my niece were my only remaining family members at the time of his death. I suddenly found myself having to adopt my niece and prevent her from going into foster care. All right, you took care of your niece. I'm sure you got a check. You're working 3 jobs. You're raising your son. You're a single mom. You're in Harlem. You know, Harlem back then, it was dangerous. That was like during the crack era when Damon Dash, and whoever else, allegedly Cameron or Jay-Z, whatever, they were all hustling the streets. Despite all these traumatic experiences, Sean somehow managed to be a good student. Well, that's good. That shows dedication, hard work. He performed well in school and always promised to work hard to provide for me so that I would not have to work 3 jobs ever again. As a teenager, he worked as a newspaper delivery boy, like most kids. He held other after-school jobs, like most kids, and assisted with the household expenses. That stuck out to me right there. So she had him work that's a reality for some people. Some kids let their parents, in my home, I'm fortunate enough, my kid works, that's her pocket money, right? That's her money. But see what she says there, that he worked. So the mother was taking his money. The mother was taking his money to get the bills paid. But she did put him in a private school. So I don't know the timeline of everything. Like, if you don't really have the money, why you put him in private school? But then again, maybe she got assistance or other things. It's not really too clear. Let me go back up. Oh, this thing got stuck around. Nothing was really easy for my son growing up. Even when he started making music, he faced rejection, and the clubs would not play his music. They just did not think he was good enough. He did not make my It did not make my son angry at the world. He kept going, never giving up until eventually his hard work paid off. He did become very successful. I have to say that I saw how success also became with a tremendous amount of responsibility, which sometimes is overwhelming. Still, with all that, my son managed to be present for his children, caring, loving, making sure that his children's needs were met and instilling values in them. Okay, yeah, I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to say, from the public's point of view, I think he was always all hands on deck with his kids. It appeared that way publicly. Black excellence. He seemed to be there at, important times in their life. But I don't know also too if this is a family cult, a family cult where the power trickles down and they answer up. You can look it up. Family cult is a real thing. That there it still seems like, even though Diddy's in prison for a year, it still seems like he has some mind control over them. Of course, that's their father, and they love him, but he's controlling them, I think, a lot with money, how they dress, how they appear, what they do, how they pose, how to say. I also depend on showing for emotional support. That's a burden right there too. I depend on my son for emotional support. So she's admitting, like, I got issues. I don't have it all together. I'm not getting the help I need. She's a single mom. Was she dating her son? And I don't mean that in a salacious way, but you'll find a lot of single women of color, that they don't have, that she never remarried or didn't date. Maybe she was dating, I don't know, this woman allegedly. And then they start doing things with their son that they will be doing in a relationship, taking cruises, going to the movies, going out to dinner, and they kind of like have this dynamic. I also depend on Sean for emotional support. He always looked after my health and well-being as a loving son. That's great. That shows good character. This was crucial, as no one else cared for me. 4 of his children lost their mother. Rest in peace, Kim Porter. Not too long ago, the kids, especially the boys, are still having a very difficult time dealing with the loss of their mother. The loss of their father has been devastating. I will never excuse any wrongdoing committed by Sean. I was always very strict with him growing up. See, she looks strict. She looked like she don't take no crap. Hmm. Was she too strict? What do you guys think? Was she too strict? I don't know. Raising a black boy in Harlem, I don't think you could ever be too strict, though. I don't think so. I appeal to the kindness of your heart to allow my son to be able to sit at the dinner table with his family, to allow him to raise his children, and to instill in them they need to be respectful, get an education, and must be God's children with love in their hearts. Get an education. Be respectful. I don't think the kids are disrespectful. I don't think. I don't. We need to stop calling these people kids. They are not kids. They are grown young men and women. But respectful. I never felt like his kids ever came off disrespectful. I don't feel that. Get an education. Now, that's something that seems like they don't want to do. I don't see any of them. I think, and education is not for everyone. Kim Porter didn't go to college. Diddy went for 1 semester. School's not for everyone. He may just want to set up his kids with businesses. I don't know. But, even Pepper from Salt and Pepper said, she wanted her daughter to go to college, because when Salt and Pepper, she said when she was getting those contracts, she couldn't read them. Not that she couldn't read them. She could read them, but she couldn't articulate and understand. And maybe she didn't have the money to get a lawyer. So that's why she told her daughter, like, if you want to be in the entertainment business or whatever, just go to college and at least be able to read and understand what you're signing before you sign. Because we all know back then everyone got robbed. Please allow my son to be present in his children's lives and be able to answer any questions his children may have and be able to help them through any difficulties they might encounter in their lives. I beg your honor to let him help them through this healing process for the loss of their mother and pain and sleepless nights they have seen since Sean's incarceration. My health has deteriorated the last couple of years. I've had 2 brain surgeries, monthly follow-ups, and I am having a really difficult time controlling my diabetes. My doctor informed me that my diabetes has affected my heart, which may result in a stroke. I don't know how much longer I'll be around, but I would love to be able to see him and his children together again. Janice Combs. That was from his mother. What do you guys think? And there was a letter here from his sister. We don't hear much about her. She's, from what I heard, distanced herself from him over the past years, allegedly. I'm just trying to pull up a picture real quick of her. It's Diddy's sister. You don't really hear too much about her or anything, but she did write the judge. There she goes. I don't know if they have the same parent. Well, I think, I don't know if he was 2 when his father was murdered, so I don't know. I didn't really look anything up. So here goes. Dear Judge, I'm writing on behalf of my brother Sean Combs, who is facing sentences before you in October. My name is Keisha Combs, and it's with heavy but hopeful heart that I submit this character reference, not to excuse his past transgressions. Okay, so the family's admitting, like, the mother and the sister, so here's some accountability of letting the judge know, like, he got some issues, right? We're going to admit he got issues. But no man, no human is perfect. We all have flaws. We have positives. So I think they're trying to shine some light on the positive, but to affirm to his true heart, his character, and his capacity for change and redemption. Here we go again with that word redemption. That's what his lawyer was saying. But he's not redeemed. Has he redeemed himself? Guys, put a 1 in the comment if you think Diddy's on the road to redemption, that he redeemed himself. Put a number 1 in the comment. If not, put a 2. Redemption is a word referring to the act of atoning for faults, the act of saving or being saved from sin, the repurchase of something sold, or the repayment of a financial obligation. It means repayment, security, bond, certificate about redemption. We were raised by a hardworking mother and a devout Christian grandmother in Harlem and later in Mount Vernon, New York. Our mother worked multiple jobs to provide for us with a safe home and a good education, while our grandmother instilled in us strong Christian faith. Once we said Diddy went to Catholic school, right? I don't know if his sister went to Mount St. Michael. And there was issues over there. You can look it up in the paper that some of the priests in there were arrested for misconduct. Google it. Go look it up. And made sure we attended church regularly. We were Christian with a Catholic faith and attended Catholic school from the 1st grade through high school. Okay, nothing's wrong with that. From the early age, Sean showed us both responsibility and drive. That's one thing I think about drive. You can see a lot of people be a millionaire and then go broke, and be a millionaire and go broke and go a millionaire, file bankruptcy. They'll file bankruptcy 2-3 times, and they always come. They have that it factor, and that's what she's saying. That the mother and the sister both said they noticed when he was young that he had a strong drive. And maybe he got it from his mother, maybe he got it from his father, but he had a good work ethic. He worked as a newspaper boy, gas station attendant, and in retail to help ease our family's financial. So he was paying the bills. That's rough. Your father's murdered. Your mother takes on an additional child, the niece. Then she has another baby. And I guess they needed food. So he was working 3 jobs as a kid to help his mother pay the bills. maybe his mother forced him to. I'm not, listen, I'm not allegedly, I'm just reading the letter. I'm not saying the mother was robbing her son, but you working three jobs. Maybe she was living beyond her means because I think she went and bought a house in Mount Vernon. They moved from Harlem to Mount Vernon. I would be nervous living in Harlem. Like, if my husband got murdered there, I'd probably get out the state. I probably want to get out the state. You don't know what he was into, if he was hustling, whatever. So over the years, Sean became more than just a brother. He became an emotional anchor for our family. So now sounds like everyone has emotional issues in the family. And they said Diddy right now is suffering from some the prosecution was saying he's psychotic or he's having some psychological issues. It's in the paperwork. If I get a copy, I'll come back on later and try and read it. He is the cheerleader, the motivator, the one who could lift you up when you're at your lowest. His pep talks are legendary. And those who know him often describe him as having his very own TED Talk because he always knows how to inspire others and believe in himself. What about the free game class? He's in prison giving all the prisoners free game class. How are you giving free game classes when you robbed all your artists? Nobody on your label was successful except for Mary. I don't even think Mary was signed to you. I think you were just managing her. Everybody, your artists are all broke. Your kids haven't had a hit. They didn't produce anything. They didn't have a hit album, hit show, hit book, hit clothing line, hit nothing. But you're going to give out free game. Okay. Sean's absence has been especially difficult. Sean's absence has been especially difficult for my son. His nephew, who is on their bond, has always been unique to perform. Some of this is redacted. I don't know if her son is handicapped. I don't know, allegedly. I don't know. Sean understands him in a way few others can, knowingly when they talk, when they simply listen, when they just sit quietly with him. When my son was first diagnosed, Sean immediately asked how he could help. He reached out to his network to find us guidance and resources and connected us with someone who continues to help us today. He supported my son with his medical needs, including treatments as well as interest hockey camp, derby racing, fundraisers, and causing causes for cares about therapy. To my son, Sean is not just an uncle, but a studying, loving presence who makes him feel understood and accepted. So he seems to be very generous with his family, but very cheap with his artists. Like when it comes to business, I think he was shrewd, but when it came to his family, it seems like he would go above and beyond. Beyond family, Sean has always carried an incredible work ethic and a strong sense of responsibility. As the head of Bad Boy Records, he employed over 200 people. He always said that if you could work at Bad Boy, you could work anywhere and achieve great things. Many of his former employees have gone on to create magazine opportunities for themselves and community, something Sean always encouraged. His goal was not just his own success, but to create opportunities for others and be example for his children, his employees, and his community. Guys, it's like over 70 letters on here that they wrote to the judge. I don't even know if Judge Arun read them all if he had the time. I'm not going to sit here and read them all, but this is just from his sister. I'm going to finish this one up. Throughout his career, Sean was quickly giving back to countless ways. He's donated his time and money and resources to support school students, providing laptops, Wi-Fi hotspots, books, helped close the education gap. He funded scholarships for children to attend sleepaway camps, support Saturday school, offering technology classes, SAT prep, African studies, and manhood and womanhood classes. He sponsored Wall Street visits to teach financial literacy, HBCU college tours, and even an educational trip for students to Africa. He has helped fund school libraries in underserved communities, supports STEM programs, paid off school tuition balances, and provided startup funding for young entrepreneurs. He has also contributed to numerous health organizations. That's what millionaires do, is a tax write-off, right? They have to give to charity. None of this was done for recognition. Those were quite acts of service that came from his sincere heart. For decades, Sean has worked to inspire, uplift, and provide opportunities for others, especially young people. This is why it is so painful to see him portrayed as a danger to the community when in truth he has always been a source of support and encouragement to so many. Yes, Sean has made mistakes, serious one. He struggles with addiction, accountability. See, she's saying my brother's an addict, clouded his judgment, and led him away from his true path. A champion uplifting our Black and brown children and communities, of reaffirming to them that they can be educated through hard work and be successful, and help provide the tools and opportunities needed to build a stronger community. During this time, we spoke on the phone, email. I go to visit with him at MDC. My visits with him were not solely because I missed him, but also because I could see into his eyes. I needed to see his face, look into his eyes, and read his facial expression. Anyone could say the words, "I'm fine," when not in your presence, but when you're face to face, your mask tends to betray us. I can see he is more reflected and grounded. Yeah, because he's off the drugs. I can see and hear that Sean has changed. The dark veil of addiction, confusion, the chaos of his life gone. Shout out to Diddy Docket, who posted all these letters. When I think back to the start, I recall the fear and uncertainty in his voice, his words, and his body language. Now his voice, his words, and his thoughts are clear. Considering where he is at, Sean sounds lighter, his new reality away from family. The glamour, the comfort, the familiarity that he's used to has forced him to self reflect and assess his choices. He is different now than we've entered into the MDC. Um, any one of us locked up for a year is going to be different. Are you kidding me? I heard at night they don't even like at night when he sleeps they put a big bright light on him, and it makes you go psychotic. He don't sleep in the dark. You know the circadian rhythm how do you say it? You know what I mean. We have an internal clock of night and day. They shine the bright, and then he has to go with his ID and check in every 2 hours because he's on like watch. Like I'm fine, I'm fine. He's just pissed. I cannot tell you how many times during our conversation he had said to me, "I've been able to think clearer now. This time has made me sit my blank down and be honest with myself." During a small break in court, he turned to my husband and asked about his nephew. He made a comment that he's now realized instead of running around doing too much, I should have been present with my family. He has promised that when he is free to be more present, he will be at his nephew's sports games because that's where he should have been and needs to be with family. The therapy programs and teaching has helped him focus on the purpose to remind him who he is, the type of person he wants to be, and that he generally likes to help people. I could hear how proud he was of himself when he shared with me how good therapy was going and that he earned several certificates. Just to hear some joy in his voice again brought a smile to my face. I believe he now fully understands the consequences of his action, is committed to learning, growing, and becoming the man God always intended him to be, and will never go through anything like that again. She wrote a scripture here from the Bible. Scriptures remind us to, therefore, as anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. I believe Sean is on his path to renew and redemption. For I know the plans I have for you, declare the Lord's plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and hope. I pray at this moment it's not the end of Sean's story, but a turning point towards a more purposeful and honorable life, Your Honor. I understand the weight of the decision before you. I humbly ask for compassion and discernment as you consider Sean's future. I believe with all my heart that he can use this painful chapter as the beginning of his true transformation, a man who will continue to serve in family and his community as his God. Thank you for considering my letter with deepest respect. Keisha Combs. There we go. There we go. Well, I felt that was a little bit more heartfelt than what his mother wrote. Dallas Austin wrote in a letter. I think Young Miami wrote a letter. Guys, you could just jump on Diddy Docket and read all this if you want to read it. There's like 71 letters. A lot of them are one was from a pastor. There's a lot of them from inmates that have been playing the free game with Diddy. Justin Combs. Let's see what Justin had to say. Justin Combs. I'm just going to read like two more letters and I got to go. Here we go. Here's Justin Combs. It goes Justin Combs with Nicki Minaj, Diddy, and that's his mother, Misa. Justin Combs. Let's see what his letter said. I think he's about 30. Is he that old? or 28. I think Quincy's 30. Okay, so my name is Justin Combs. I'm the firstborn son of Sean Combs. I write to you with both a heavy heart and a hopeful spirit because I want to share not just who my father is to me, but why his presence is so vital to our family's survival and healing. Since his absence, life has felt incomplete. Each morning I wake up praying that it is just a nightmare. My father has been there for me every day of my life, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and in the deepest sense of what matters, what it means to be a father. I know how rare that is. Growing up, many of my friends didn't have fathers around. They would often turn to my dad for guidance, comfort, and even discipline. And he opened his arms to them as if they were his own. To the world, he may be a superstar, but to me, he is my world. Only now, in his absence, do I fully realize how much of my identity, strength, and faith in myself comes from him. So he's having some soul searching. One of the clearest memories I carry with me is him standing at the sidelines of my football games. He wasn't just cheerleading from the stands, he was coaching me, challenging me, and most importantly, believing in me. When I wanted to quit after a tough practice, he'd sit with me, put his arm around me, and remind me that greatest is earned through patience and persistence. I can still hear him saying, "You're stronger than you think, son." Those words carried me then, and they still carry me now. Wow, I like that. That was deep. That was very insightful. You could tell he put a lot of thought in that. You're stronger than what you think, son. And those words still carry me now. But just as powerful those moments of strength were the softness ones. I remember being a little boy and my dad would sit on the edge of my bed at night, reading to me until I fell asleep. Sometimes he'd wake me up in his arms, always with lessons about courage, kindness, family woven in. Even as tired as he was from work, he never let me feel alone at the end of the day. Those quiet nights, hearing his voice tell me I was safe and loved, are memories I will carry for the rest of my life. That was my dad at his core, gentle, protective, and always making sure his children knew how deeply they were loved. When my football career ended, I went into a deep depression. I felt like I had failed. The weight of the public expectation crushed me. I was lost and carried the darkness I couldn't shake. My father, despite fighting battles of his own, reached into my pain and pulled me back into the light. So now the son's suffering from depression. So you have the mother with emotional issues, the sister with emotional issues, and the son suffering from depression because he can't play football. Or he wasn't as good as his father's expectation of him being a football player. Let me work. I'm reading into it, but that's the feeling of that. That's what I think that gave off. He gave me his time when it was the one thing he had so little of. He reminded me that I was worthy of love, forgiveness, and grace. That's a beautiful statement. My father saved me. And I say that with all the honesty in my heart. I know Diddy read these. He probably was crying. I would be crying. If my son wrote this and I'm in prison, I would be, because you're going to feel like a failure. My dad is not perfect. I know he's made mistakes and I do not deny that. But I refuse to let those mistakes erase the truth of who he is, a loving present father who has instilled in me and my siblings the importance of respect and honoring women and of standing tall in the face of adversity. He is the anchor of our family, the one we look for guidance and reassurance. Right now, my sisters are especially vulnerable. They no longer have their mother, and without my dad, they lack the steady hand and protective love they need. I tried to step in as their older brother, but nothing can replace the unique comfort of a father's presence. On top of that, my grandmother, who has recently endured brain surgery, longs for her son's support. We are a strong family, but other strength rooted in him without him, and the foundation feels like it's cracking. The judge must be like, your father was convicted on 2 counts of the Mann Act. Why would you think he would be a good role model for his daughters? Like, I know the judge is like, something is off here. Your Honor, I believe my father still has so much more to give to the world, but even more importantly, to give to his children. Every day that passes is time that we cannot get back with us, time that my youngest siblings desperately need in their formative years. His wisdom, his love, and even the lessons from darkest moments can be a gift, not just to our family, but to others who look up to you. I humbly ask you for your deepest part of my heart to see my father the way I do, not through the headlines, but through the eyes of a son who loves and needs him. Please allow him the chance to come back home to be a father his children desperately need and continue to work out becoming a man I know he is capable of being. My siblings and I cannot get back his lost time, but I pray to you to give us the gift of having our father back in our lives while we still have time with him. Thank you for hearing me and for considering the weight of this present means to me and my family and the world that continues to impact Justin Combs. If Diddy was more like accountable, because the mother and the sister and the mother and the sister were accountable, but he's not. He's still coming off like arrogant, and I don't know. So I don't think the judge Diddy's not approaching, and then the Diddy's are lawyers with all the shenanigans. All right, next letter is from Quincy. Here goes Quincy. Quincy Brown. Quincy Brown, who supposedly wasn't legally adopted by Diddy, but was raised by him. So here goes Quincy Brown, Diddy. I'll be sure. He also wrote an open letter. You could Google it. He wrote an open letter to his father many years ago, which was very touching. Because you always wonder, like, what is in the mind of a young child growing up, a young boy growing up without his father. So, dear Judge, my name is Quincy Brown. I am the son of Kimberly Antoinette Porter and the stepson of Mr. Sean Combs. He made it very clear. My biological father is Albert Joseph Brown III. I'll be sure. He made that very, boom, first statement. I call my stepfather Pops when referring to him, so I will do the same in this letter to you. I was around 4 years old when my Pops came into my life. He has been the only father figure in my life for as long as I can remember. He stepped in and stepped up as a father at an important time in my life during the most informative years in a way that no one else could have. He poured into his love into me in a way that I couldn't quite recognize as a child. I love that I only received from a woman in my life. It was unconditional, safe, and unwavering. It still is. He put me first. He went out of his way at any and every opportunity without hesitation to make me feel like he had been there the whole time. Having never experienced that love of a father before then, it was also foreign to me. I didn't know that I was the recipient of a man's love. That is until I began to witness the love that he had for my mother. I believe when a man loves a woman, that man will love his children. So if Diddy really loved Quincy the way Quincy is writing this, that goes for me to believe that he definitely loved his mother, without a doubt. It was tremendous and true. The love they shared brought new blessings into the world. I became a big brother to my brother Christian and my twin sisters Jessie and Delilah. The birth of my siblings changed the lives of my mom and pops and myself. It was in the most beautiful way. I love my younger siblings more than life itself. And in the absence of my parents, I've tried the best to step up for them in the same way my pops stepped up for me. Our mom passed away in November 2018. This is heartbreaking. I don't know. This is a very emotional letter without being emotional. He's being very matter of fact. But if you read between the lines, I do believe that the judge is going to be touched by this letter. I think Quincy's letter, I think this letter is the most powerful one over the mother, the sister, and Justin. Losing her was the hardest thing my siblings and I ever had to deal with. I think it was the hardest thing my pops ever had to deal with too. Unexpectedly, he became the only person we could turn to. He became our rock. Losing her sent all of us into a dark place, still surviving every single day and making her proud. Her passing left our world in shambles, left us unsure of what to do, and left us questioning what life ahead would be like. My pops, as he's always done for his children, stepped up and made it a priority to be present with us at the time when he didn't even know how to be there for himself. Having to say goodbye to our mother brought us closer in ways that only grief could. Through the loss was felt deeply, we've learned that our family strength during the most difficult time of our life. That's a beautiful thing. Sometimes when there's tragedy and a parent dies or someone dies suddenly, sometimes the family fight. They fight over money. They fight at who fault. Sometimes they fight. But in this case, he's saying, nah, they got closer, which is a beautiful thing because when people pass and you fight, I feel that makes the deceased person turn in their grave. They need to rest in peace. Following my mother's passing, my pops further strengthened our bond when he asked me to help with raising my sisters. It was that moment that he instilled his trust in me and reminded me of our special connection as a father and son. My sisters were entering their teenage years that was sure to be challenging without our mom. He truly didn't know what to do and struggled to fill that role that only a mother could, but he tried his best and he asked for help. He wanted and was willing to learn about what life was like for the younger generation. He wanted to know how to connect with my siblings as they enter crucial moments in their lives. Though it could never be fully achieved, he wanted to minimize the pain and suffering from his teenage girls would feel without their mother. When work took him away from home, he leaned on me to step up. He called in for check-ins daily, more than we had ever spoken on the phone before, simply because he wanted to become a better dad. He's always aimed to be the best dad that he can be. This is a clear in the way my pop showed up for all my siblings, not just my mom's children. He made tremendous efforts to put family first, and he's created family first traditions that we all look forward to. Unity can sometimes be a challenge for us in such a large family, but my pops achieves it well. The unity and family first mentality we has been shaped by his leadership and love. It's the type of leadership and love that every family needs. I think that's beautiful. I really do think that you have some families, y'all don't see each other unless it's a funeral or a wedding. Whereas I think with immigrants, not Americans, but I think with immigrants, they kind of get more together just for no reason, just because they're family and they need to be close. My pops isn't a perfect man, but he is a dedicated father with a heart that we're lucky to know now. He loves his children and would do anything for us. We are the ones that can help him heal and grow best. We're the ones that can help him learn from his mistakes, and we're the ones that can help him face whatever struggles he may encounter. Wasn't the kids that wrote the apology letter? Didn't Jane Doe testify, Daphne Joy testify on stage that when the CNN video dropped of Diddy, you know, again having an altercation with Cassie in the hotel at the Intercontinental Hotel in LA. Didn't she testify in court that it was the kids that wrote the apology letter for him? Again, he has zero accountability. My siblings and I like to welcome Pops home immediately so that we can help him as he continues to work on his struggles and heal in the private settings following all that has been shared publicly with the world beyond the unconditional love and support he has provided my siblings and I during our lifetime. Iced coffee, guys. My pops also empowered us to become who we want to be. Now we like to support and inspire him to become who he'd like to be in this chapter of his life. He needs us as much as we need. Wow. So it sounds like the children, like he's the child. The way Quincy said it was like his father's a child and very immature, and now I'm the adult, and now I need to parent him because now he's in trouble. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. What do you guys think about these letters? I'm reading one more and I'm out of here. And I know exactly which one I'm going to read. if I can find it. You guys can go on Diddy docket. The letters are there from his kids. The letters there from the inmates. The letters are there from Young Miami. He's got letters there from um, what's that guy's name? Dust Alice Dallas Austin. Um, and then there's the chef wrote a letter. Dante Nash, the stylist. Okay, his daughter wrote a letter. Chance, the Dyla, the twins. You could go in there and read that. Um, how do you guys think the judge is taking in these letters, guys? Do you think he read them all? 71 letters? He probably had his paralegals. I mean, he has to read them. I mean, the paralegals probably jumped on it really quickly and whatever stood out. I think Quincy's guys. If you come on here and read anyone, I would say Quincy's was powerful because Dana Tran wrote a letter. Um, that's his little baby love's mother. I think she's 2 years old. What do you guys think about these letters? I'm sure he read them. He's sitting in there. He probably was telling everyone to read it. Okay, here's one more I'm gonna read. This is the last one I'm gonna read. These are the ones that stood out to me, but you guys can read your own. Christian Combs. Let's read that one. Let me share my screen. There it goes. Christian Combs. He just got a new song. It's called Lonely Road with Kanye West. The beat is dope. It's North Kanye West and Christian Combs. The beat was hot. And was the video. I was trying to give it all I got. I was not hating everything. I was like, oh, I like that feeling. And then he started rapping, and then I was disappointed. I was just like, he was off rhythm or the cadence or something. Something was off beat. I wasn't catching the flow. But the video was, he put some money, Kanye or whoever, they put some money. Just look it up. I think it's called Lonely Road or something. And he's singing about his mother. So, of course you're going to feel for any child rapping and singing about his mother. So this is what he said to the judge. Let's see what he said. Dear Judge, I'm asking you to please let my father out of jail. He does not deserve to be there. Dude, are you in denial? See? I know this from the bottom of my heart. We have been through a year of lies and discrimination. Lies? So your eyes are lying to you. You don't believe what you see on video. And discrimination and dehumanization and loneliness and separation and extreme stress on the family. This is my dad, and he is the best father in the whole world. He has never taught me anything but to treat people with the most respect possible and to never be entitled and to always work for what I want and to treat people with love and kindness, most importantly. It sounds like this is him writing it. He is the reason that I make music and the reason I am the person I am today. And who is that? Who are you today? There was never a time that my father wasn't there for me and my father didn't make me feel special. Every birthday, every holiday, he would go above and beyond before me for every accomplishment. And even days when I was feeling my lowest, he would pick me up and make me feel great. Let me stick a pin real quick. There's something called Disneyland Dad. That's what I like to call it. I call it Disneyland Dad. Oh, my TikTok went off. Hold up, guys. Let's go over here. Okay. Disneyland Dad. The work of a parent is the one who's there when you're sick, takes you to the doctors, PTA meetings, homework every night, discipline you when you come in late or you step out of order. It's easy to show up and throw a party and, oh, it's Christmas, ha ha ha, here I come with the gifts, or it's your birthday, here I come with a diamond ring and some jewelry. That's the easy part of parenting. The hard part is the one that's there every day. And I'm not hearing this from he was there when they were depressed and but if you got multiple kids with multiple women, I guess it's just tough. Okay, he was really the best father you could ever imagine, and I could put everything on that and go toe to toe with any son in the world. This is how you're talking to the judge, a highly educated judge, and go toe to toe. You taking rapping to the judge and go toe to toe with any son in the world. Now I know for a fact that they do not have an all around better father than my dad is. No disrespect to you if you have kids, but I know my father is the best. And for me and my sisters and brothers, him not being here is life changing and is affecting our lives in the worst way possible. No, it's going to make you grow up. It's going to make you grow up. Be a man. Go to school. Get a career. Don't follow your father's shenanigans. Don't be out there popping pills and bottles and pull up your pants and you're going to go down his road. Please let my father out of prison. Guys, this is so tragic. This is sad. I'm not reading any more letters. This is so sad. He's like, please let my father out of prison. This is not funny. I'm not. Listen, y'all want to say I sit up on here and I roast Diddy and I make jokes and no. I'm showing a more compassionate side. I'm letting his family speak. I'm reading what they wrote. I'm not coming. I don't know this man. I'm not. It's not for. I'm not gonna hate on him. I don't like the fact you putting your hands on women, or you rugging people, or you with the minions. If all of that allegedly is true, I'm asking for grace and compassion to the family. Please let my dad out of jail. I've seen my dad help thousands of people, give back millions of dollars, and show love to everyone and never treat anyone foul. Please let my dad out of jail. Okay, I think he said that like 5 times. Me and my sisters and brother don't have a mom. With my dad still in jail, it feels like I have no one at all. And it's a really scary feeling that I can't take. Please, please don't make this feeling reality. I would not be able to handle that at all. Please, God, please judge. Please judge. Let my father out of jail. Thank you so much. Guys, I give you 2 hours. I gave you 2 hours, guys. Go ahead, hit that like button. I'll be back later today. Hopefully they drop a little bit more paperwork. Diddy's, at the minimum, the prosecution is saying 11 years. 11.25 is the minimum request by the prosecution. All I know is that judges, when they go for sentences, they usually lean towards the prosecution, not the defense, because he was guilty on 2 counts on the Mann Act. 11 years, there it is. I said it.